Hello, welcome back, folks. It's Arnie once more again, and today we're going to do a review, quick review of the Gundam Universe's Tallgeese, or Oz-00MS Tallgeese. This right here is the Tallgeese as we've seen in the events of Bull Report Gundam Wing, and it is a little bit much more upsized version than what we usually see with most Tallgeese figures, unless you get the Masquerade or Masquerade version of it. As most Gundam Universe's figures usually scale up to 6 inches. I have to kind of make sure their presence is pretty big, which this one actually is. Because if you built any of the high grade, or even some of the master grade, what's it called, wing kits, they're usually on the smaller side compared to most of the other Gundam kits that we usually do see. But this upscale onto 6 inches is pretty nice. Actually, it's pretty upscale to some other mechs. Like I can show you right now in a second. As we're back, and now we're going to compare it to some of my other Gundams I actually do have right now at hand right now at the moment. So let's compare it to some of the sizes so you can see usually what upscale means. Right here, here's the revived Zeta Gundam right here, who, as you can see right here, the Tallgeese actually dwarfs it, which is funny because relatively speaking, the Tallgeese and most of the wing kits, like I already mentioned before, technically in the smaller size. But with Gundam Universe figures, making them almost 6 inches, they actually dwarf what's it called, most of the other Gundams, who technically dwarf most of the wing kits. So let's go as comparison with something that technically is almost around the same size, because technically dwarfs, and also is technically a Gundam, but also not considered Gundam, but technically is part of Gundam, was the Sinandra Stein, which by technicality point is technically a Gundam, as it does derive from the whole new Gundam thing, family line. You can look it up later down the line. As technically I was going to go with things that are technically not Gundams, but technically they are. I decided to bring this Sinandra Stein as they kind of are in that situation. And then we also have another My Gundam Universe figures, and I actually no clue if I did review this one or not. But here's the Gundam Universe of the Death Size, who actually I'm looking at this actually a little bit more. It's actually shorter than the Tallgeese. Now I actually have to go online and actually look and see if the Tallgeese is the same size or not. And with the mention was the fact that I'm actually realizing now that the Death Size is actually shorter than the Tallgeese. Actually kind of funny. I actually do have to go and see whether or not the Tallgeese actually scales a little bit taller than the rest of the other Gundam kits, or the rest of the Gundam teams: Wing, Sandrock, Death Size, Shenlong, Heavy Arms. And I'm pretty sure just because I think the Tallgeese scaled back to the scale size of the Wing Zero, but that I would have to see. But yeah, let's go with the articulation with this kit. So before we go with the articulation, let's go with basically what the Tallgeese, Gundam Universe Tallgeese basically comes with. It comes with basically this Dober gun, which is basically, I'm pretty sure, since this is the, what's it called, regular Tallgeese, I'm pretty sure this is the physical version of this instead of the beam one, because there are two versions of the Dober gun, one beam and one basically physical. There's been contradictions about it in a lot of media, but at least from what we do know, during on Earth, when Tallgeese is on Earth, it's using physical, but when it's in space, it swaps over to beam just for the better use in different environments. It does have its thrusters in the back. His shield right here does move around, which I actually do kind of like about this. Kind of like these little ball joint things right here. Does carry two beam sabers that I don't remember if these pop out or not. What's it called? I'm gonna try to see. I'm pretty sure they do pop out, and they do come. I don't even remember if these. Like I said, I bought this like last year, so I don't even remember what's it called. If this came with a beam saber or not. I'm pretty sure it did at one point, but now I don't. And you can see stuff is starting to pop off of it, which is kind of fine. It's not that bad. No, what's it called? Same thing you kind of see with most model kits with some parts. Sometimes the skirt parts tend to pop off, but it's not that bad. You can basically pull the beam saber right there. I'm pretty sure I have extra beam sabers I could probably put into this since they use the similar peg hole right there. Not bad at all. I do like the way the Tallgeese color scheme is all looks. It actually looks pretty great. You can see right there. Overall pretty good. The painting for this is actually good, which we want. As these Gundam User kits are actually kind of expensive, at least when they first came out a couple years ago. They were around, I think, $25 each. But I think now they raised the price for that. I think the price now for some of these are like around $35 or $40, which is expensive for this. That used to be $25. Though, I think that's more towards some of the more special ones, because I think some of the regular guys are still the 25 mark. I do know the Beyond is like $30 or so. As every time when I'm going to like Target or Walmart or any of the stores, and I see it there, and I'm like, I'm gonna get the Beyond. I truly am, because I do want it. But I do have my master grade Epion that I'm going to eventually build on it, which one of these days, whenever I get the chance or feel like doing it, I'll build the Epion. Overall, I really do like how it goes. It is simplistic. It's basically just a purely white mobile suit with black accents, with the red kind of like Roman, I forget what they call it, the Roman helmet thing. I forget what it's called. It's not hoplite, because hoplite's Greek. Centaurian helmet. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where we're going with this. Sources look pretty great. These actually do open up right here for the side skirts right here, so you can actually move it back and forth right here for when he's doing speed mode, or when he's going up to speed. Back plates don't really move at all. They're kind of stuck like this. So that's fine. Side skirts do move around, no problem at all. It's cold, back and forth. The arms are on the ball joints, which I do like for this, as they're able to move around, no problem at all. The shoulder armor can move, so you actually do have a little bit more movability, which we want for toy figures to use around and play with. The head is on a ball joint, so basically move around, no problem at all. It is on, as the toy is on a ball joint for these, so technically back and forth. I've never really played with this torso, so it's not as loose as you would expect it from a model kit, which is fine. The back plate does fall over, but these have back attachments, which you can actually put back up there. If you play around with them a little bit too much, they will fall off, but that's fine. As you can see right there, they do have the tendency of folding off. You gotta make sure the thing is in there. There we go. They do like to pop off on occasion. The legs are on their own kind of ball joint, so technically this is as far as we can take them for the split, which is fine. It's not that bad. It's actually a decently nice split. Something I could probably do before I start hurting myself. The legs, you can pull all the way up, all the way kind of to the side back, because again, the butt flap stops it like once more again. Leg is able to bend, so I'm not gonna lie, this is the first time I'm actually bending this guy. I guess as much as I can get the bending go. Leg is not on a, sadly the leg's not on a, is it not on a double, I mean, yeah, it is on a double ball joint, but this is as far as I'm able to take it. I think what I need to do is heat up a little bit of the plastic. Usually I could do this with basically just adding some warm water onto it and just dipping it in there. That should loosen up the joints and hopefully make it a little bit much more better, which I'm probably going to do later. Leg is on this kind of sort of ball joint here, squeaking on it. Overall, not bad at all. And you can see, now that I'm trying to play with this thing, it's starting to fall apart everywhere. It's fine. It's not like this. It's the same thing you get when you're tinkering with model kits. Everything starts popping off when you decide it. Usually when I'm leaving it by itself, it's usually fine, but now when I'm starting to play with this, when everything starts to fall apart, which does happen when it has these small parts. Same thing kind of does happen with the, I forget, it's not the Leo, but I forget which one it is that I have that tends to pop off. I think it's one of the Gundam IBO kits, one of the Schwartz, one of the Graces, I'm pretty sure. But overall, not bad at all. Let's re-put his stuff back together. Like I said, the only things that popping off of this is basically the skirt armor. That's pretty much it. These are technically on peg points, so being moved around a lot more than they usually are. They are starting to fall off, which is fine. It happens, but it's the good thing for being able to move around, so that's the good things. So the fact that they are going to fall off is something I kind of expect. The ball joints on the hands is kind of thing you expect, because they are taking on rubber and plastic, so it gets loosened up over time. Probably just put some paint on it so that it can stay on there for a little bit more. But yeah, overall, not a bad figure. Overall, decently good. I do like it. Overall, pretty great. The paint job for this is pretty good. Overall, articulation is not bad at all. It's what we want for a toy, for a figure, play around with. If you're basically want to buy this, you're buying this just to play around with, unlike with the model kits, where model kits are usually tend to be just to be, well, sadly, to be looked at and not played around as too much. But this right here, it's sturdy. It's what needs to be done. There are some stiffness on it that can be relieved by adding some like warm water. Dip it into warm waters. That way some of the joints can be a little bit let loose. That way it can be less squeaky and a little bit more foldable with some parts, like with the legs right here, which kind of needs it. There are some parts that are going to be popping off, like the side skirts, the shields, and the hand parts, because they're kind of loose. You could probably put some paint right there just to give it a little bit more adhesive so that way it can stick on there. But that's kind of the thing that you're generally going to experience with this, with some parts popping off. But overall, not that bad at all. I do like this. Now, price range for this is like around 25 bucks, I think. I don't know if they raised the price over years. I did get this a couple years ago back when Bandai announced the Gundam Universe line. And this is one of the few figures I started off with. Overall, not bad at all. I do love it. Pretty great. It should be able to stand on its own. Right now, I'm not posing it as it should be. When it comes to accessories, I forget how much it came with. Does come with his doper gun, comes with his shields, comes with 2 beam sabers they can use. I forget if it came with beam blades. I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure you can fit if you have a good amount of Gundam model kits, you can fit any of the number of beam blades you have in your collection if you have that amount, like I do. I like 3 boxes full of beam blades I can probably use. I can probably fit this in, so it's no problem at all for me. But overall, still pretty good model kit. What's it called? Details are really great. Articulation is decently fine. Only some minor things with some parts detaching, like the skirts and some of the arms popping off. But overall, not that bad at all. And yeah, if you do want this, I do recommend it. It's still a good figure to get. Even if, this is if you can't get your hands on Tallgeese. Because right now, there's no really high-grade Tallgeese, which I'm kind of mad with Bandai. Yes, we do have real grades and master grades, but there's no high grades. And I was kind of hoping for high grade Tallgeese with the whole revive of the high grade line, but Bandai decided to make real grades, which I'm not hating with the real grades. I do like real grades, but I kind of wanted some high grades just be more play around with and basically be a little bit more accessible and universal for Tallgeese. But you know what? This is gonna be as close as we're gonna get with basically a good movable Tallgeese just having your shelves. Overall, still pretty great, and I do love this. And I'm going to try to get my hands on Tallgeese 3. I'm pretty sure there is going to be a Tallgeese 3. And I'll try to get my hands on that. And the Epion, hopefully, too. Or probably some more Gundam Universe stuff. But yeah, overall, if you did like the video, please consider dropping a like, share, subscribe. I do appreciate it, folks. And as always, have a nice day. This is I, Pardon, signing out. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, folks.